I was back in the Midwest all summer. I had to take care of my mom. I'll start by telling you this. My mom, she's okay. So I'm going to tell you kind of a rough story, but she's fine. I just didn't know she was fine for a minute. So I was back taking care of her. What happened is she had to have her spine fused, which is where they put like a cage on your spine. She had scoliosis. So she got it fused, and then a couple days later, she broke her neck. Again, she's fine, but I know, what a rough shake, huh? So the day she broke her neck, I didn't know what happened. So I came downstairs from my room, and I looked in the kitchen, and I saw that one of the cupboards was broken. It was a Lazy Susan. It's that stupid cupboard that's on the bottom. I thought somebody just kicked it because it's dumb. Like, what are we doing with a Lazy Susan? I stopped looking in cupboards that I'm taller than when I'm taller than them. So, yeah. Anyway, so that was broken. I was like, okay, that's odd. And then I didn't see my mom anywhere, and I looked at the bathroom door. Bathroom door was shut, and I texted her. I was like, hey, you good? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Let her know I'm serious. And I went on the couch, playing games for like 5 minutes, like a grown-up, like a gentleman, if you will. And no answer. So I hit her back. I go, hey, Mom, seriously, you good? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Answer your son, God damn it. So 5 more minutes go by, no answer. And then I went and knocked on the door, and I was like, hey, what the hell? Are you okay? Is everything good? And I heard her whisper no, that she wasn't okay. And then I got very scared. And that's a funny time for that to go off. That's okay. That's funny. Anyway, so I was knocking on the door. I was like, hey, you okay? And she said no. And then I put my shoulder into it, and I was like, do you need me to break this door down? And then I heard her whisper that, yes, I needed to break the door down. She was in rough shape. And so then I was confronted with that thing, like, okay, I guess I'm going to break this door down, which is weird because you don't ever think you're going to have to do that in real life. Like, I've seen Roadhouse. I get how things go, but I'm like, you think you could do it, but you're like, I can't really do that, can I? So I put my shoulder into it, and then boom, I broke the door down, and it was so awesome. It was just magical. Broke it perfectly. It just shattered everywhere. Hinges went flying off. Broke in a way that if you saw it, you'd look at it and be like, I bet whoever broke that is really good with their finances and like relationship and stuff, because this looks like a really well put together person broke that door down. So then I looked, and my mom was in there, laying on the floor. She wasn't breathing, and I thought she was dead. And I feel terrible because I was still actually pretty excited because I just broke a door down because I was so excited. And then I had to call the paramedics. They showed up, and they were asking where my mom is. And they were like all 6'8", perfect. It was like Mr. April through Mr. October showed up to save my mom. So then I got all defensive, like, yeah, she's right through the broken door, dog. I already broke that down. I did the first part of your job for you. So she's in the bathroom. You were going to have to break the door down, but you don't have to now because I did it. So I broke it perfectly so you have enough room to get in there. It's fine, just a broken door. I wouldn't worry about it. I'm sure you see that all the time. And so I picked her up, got her breathing again, wheeled her out in a wheelchair, and then they were talking to me very seriously. They're like, Sean, we have a lot of questions. These are very important. Is your mother on any medication? And I was like, I don't know, she might be, but we need to talk about getting some medication for that door, because I'll tell you, your boy fucked it up. So I was back in the Midwest for a long time. Whenever I go back, I'm just reminded of, I don't know, dumb stuff I did when I was a kid back home, or like a young adult. I drive by certain houses and they spark memories. I drove by a house one time and I was like, I did meth in there one time. It's a rough thing to remember about yourself, where you're like, what a loser. I did that once. And I remember the night I did it with somebody who still does it. They're what you call a meth head, I think. They still do it. They've been doing it for like 20 years. And I remember sitting at the crib when we were doing it. I was like, hey, give me that. I want to try meth. And my buddy, he's just like, you don't want to try this. It's not good. You don't want to do it. And I go, yeah, I do. Give me the meth pipe. I'm going to do it. And he goes, you're not. I'll tell you what happens when you do it the first time. Here's what's going to happen. This is what he told me. He goes, you're going to have to poop your pants immediately. And then you're going to be up for like 24 hours. And I was like, well, it sounds all right. Give it to me anyways. So I got it. And I really did. I took a hit, and I'll be gall darned if it didn't feel like my whole body, all the way up to the very tip top of my back of my throat, was completely chock full of poop. And that tiny little hit of smoke was just going to shove it all out, like an emergency jettison of all the poop that I had. It was like one of those things at the fair where it's a bunch of quarters in a machine and then you put quarters in and try to knock them over the edge. That was kind of that meth hit, just knocking all the poop over the edge. Just came flying. I remember I stood up, I was like, cheese and rice, bud, you weren't kidding. And I went like that to the bathroom. And I got to the bathroom. I did not poop my pants. Crisis averted. But I was just like, how do people get addicted to that? I just don't understand how that's like your drug of choice, where you're like, hey, I got a drug for you guys. That's something you need to get into. What it does is when you smoke it, you immediately almost shit your pants. No questions asked. If there's a bathroom around, you might not shit them, but if there's no bathroom, guaranteed you shit your pants. And if that's not enough for you, you're going to be up for a whole day to think about it, huh? Doesn't that sound tight? I would like to be able to smoke weed. That's one drug I'd like to be able to do, but again, I just can't. I'm just like one of those people you see on a commercial. Like anytime, you know those commercials where you're like, that doesn't happen to a real grown-up when they smoke weed. It happens to me. Like anytime I take a hit of a joint or anything, a pipe, anything, a bong, the second the smoke like gets into my lungs, I'm just like, well, all right, let's go to the hospital. Yeah. Let's go. Let's everybody, you can all go. I can have my mom drive me, but I can feel one of your moms could drive me. I'd like a mom. I'd like a motherly figure there. So I can feel it. The smoke's around my heart. I can feel the smoke on my heart. I think my heart's stoned now, and I don't know what happens when your heart gets stoned. It explodes, right? Is that what happens? It just blows up like a Mortal Kombat finish him. It just explodes. So let's just get that done. I'm gonna be the one person that dies from weed. I think that's gonna be me. I don't know really what it is. Like I think in my mind, I think weed is a lot worse than it is because my dad smoked a bunch of weed when I was a kid, and shouldn't matter, but I found out at the wrong age. So my dad left when I was like 6 months old, came back when I was about 12 because he was a bad dad. But he came back when I was about 12, and he got a little bit of custody, just a shred, just a whisper, a faint. You could almost fit like a dollar bill through the amount of custody that my dad had. Just a far-off whisper in the distance of custody. And he took me to a family reunion. That was what he wanted to do. He's like, all right, let's go on a trip. I want you to meet the Jordans, your side of the family. And I was like, cool, that's fine. And the judge, we had to ask a judge for permission. And the judge was like, yeah, go for it. Don't drink, don't do drugs, okay? And my dad was like, sure, I won't do either one of those things. That sounds fine. So we get to the hotel, and I'm on my bed. I was 12. I was sober. My dad was on his bed. And he was drunk out of his mind, my dad. He was however old dads are, and he was hammered. And kind of out of nowhere, he's like, all right, bud, go get me a soda. So I went to go get him a soda. So I was 12. I was like, maybe this will sober you up. Maybe that's what it does. And so I get back to the room, and he goes, all right, dump it out. I was like, well, now this is ridiculous. What, are you hazing me? Is this like first day of being your son, active dad hazing situation? So I dump it out. And then he goes, all right, give me the soda. So I give him this empty soda can. And at this point, I had no idea what was going on. So I gave it to him. And I see that he has a pen in one hand, soda can in the other, and then I see this look of bad parenting just kind of waft over his face. And he looked at me as if, like, does he need to know? He needs to know. So he looks at me, he's like, all right, bud, you ever need to know how to smoke weed out of a pop can? This is how you do it. Then he just started doing it. Poked a bunch of holes in it, started doing it. And a lot of people say you wouldn't learn a lesson that day. I beg to differ. I learned a very valuable lesson. And the lesson is this, okay? If you show a child how to smoke weed out of a pop can, they're going to smoke weed for one day. Just one. Now, if you teach that child, if you take the time, put in the work, and you teach that child how to smoke weed out of a pop can, you're going to lose custody of that child.